the, the work we have done during the past few months. So let's get started. And here's our team as usual. So the today outlines, we're gonna go through all the functionality inside the game, which including the gameplay, animation, UI, network, and the sharing after the playtest that we have performed during the last few weeks.
So let's go over overall gameplay. So our game is a social deduction multiplayer game with a survival aspect. So before the game starts, each player can choose their role. Next slide, please. Yeah, okay. Before the game starts, each player can choose their role. Each role will provide a unique ability for player to use in game. Currently, there are 6 roles. Warper can teleport for a fixed distance. Detective can check the sign of activity left by other player and can also see the remaining health of player within the ability range. Medic can provide any player invincibility, which is freeze oxygen depletion and ignore all damage for a fixed duration. Octane can sprint faster for a fixed duration. Bambooster can create a fake illusion of himself and control it within a fixed duration. Security operator can put a security camera on a surface and monitor it from anywhere. The camera can be destroyed by other players as well. The player will randomly assign into 2 teams, astronaut and spy. Astronaut main objective is to gather material and craft the objective item to fix escape pod within the time provided. Spy main objective is to stop astronaut from finishing the objective, which the simplest way is to kill everyone. Then let's go over each mechanic real quick. So first, while walking around the world, their oxygen will slowly deplete, which forces them to go back to the main base to refill their oxygen. Next, to gather material, the player will need to use laser gun to break objects around the world. Some of them will require player to upgrade level laser gun to level 2 first. After gather enough material, player can use the item that they gather to craft at the craft table at the main base, which the same craft table can be used as a shade to store item too. In the main base, there are also a vote table, which allow player to vote another player from getting in the main base, which will make that player struggle with oxygen. There is 2 ways to chat in this game, which is text chat and voice chat. Both is proximity system, meaning player need to be close to each other in order to hear or see the chat. And there also a day-night system, which will be harder to see something at night, and spy also get extra ability at night, which allows spy to see the aura of other players. And that's all of our mechanics. And here's our finished map. There will be 6 zones in the map, which each of them will have their own unique material to be gathered.
Okay, for animation part. Okay, we use state machine for we implement animation and transition with state machine. So when the condition made for transition from the first animation to second animation, the animation will change from the first animation to the second animation, like when the speed from this character is more than 0, it will change from idle to run. Next slide, please. To set a variable value, we use an event graph to check a value and implement some function like head rotation function. Next slide, please. When we get an animation, some animation didn't like I want to use, so I have to rotate some part in the skeleton, like rotate head or rotate body to make an animation more liable. Next slide, please. Some animation need a smooth need to be more smoother when it transitions. So I use bend space instead of directly use the animation like this run bend space that change from idle to run. It's like it will be walk before run for a little sec. Next slide, please. Okay, this example of a head rotation function that make character rotate their head in the mouse direction. Next slide, please. Okay, about equip a gun or equip a item. First, I use a socket to implement this, but the item will move according to the socket. So, and we don't want a gun to move when we target. So we used to set in the position that we want in front of character instead of use a socket. Next slide, please. In this update, we have a new character that have a different skeleton with the first 5 characters. So we have to set a rig for a new character and an old character to retarget animation from the old character to new character. Next slide, please.
So next, we're talking about the user interface that we creating in this game. So we have several user interface that we use to help player to gain more information, to visualize some useful information that they need to know or something that they need to interact with. So first, we have the in-game user interface in next slide. So this one is the main one to display their name, their role, their teams, and their ability, also the time that remain in this round. And the next one is the role selection that will display in the lobby before we get into the game to select the role that they want to play. The next one is to help user to remind what they need to do by showing the guidebook. So in the left side is the objective that they need to achieve, what they need to build, and the right side is like a recipe, what they need to get her to build some item that they want. And the next one is inventory to show the item that they have in their body. And the next one is crafting and chest that will locate in the center of the game to build a objective item or weapon or potion. And the last one is the ending scene that we conclude the solution of the game, that you win or lose or who is the spy in this game. And when we click the return to the lobby, we will return to the lobby again to play the new one.
Okay, as for the last part of the game functionality is going to be the network. So the network functionality, of course, first of all, we're going to have the host and joining session. So for the host, they have to advertise the session throughout the network. And the session also need to have a specifier to help the author identifiers. And in this project, we use the Steam integration to perform the network punch to the local network so they can advertise their IP address to it. And for the player who going to join the game lobby, the program uses a cloud-based matchmaking method to survey for available session of the network. And for each game, it's going to have a unique Steam ID that once deployed on the Steam platforms. But for now, we're going to use the share ID that provided by the Steam. So there are two parts of the network. First of all, we're going to talk about the replicated one. And after this, we're going to talk about the non-replicated one. So the replicated actors inside the game is actually an actor that had to be synchronized to our or every client. So we're going to call this one a player state. So what a player state? Player state is just the simplification of the player characters that they interact the object throughout the world. So the example that we're going to give it to you is the moving character that all the mesh animation and stat as seen in the picture, they have to be synchronized to all the network. And all the in-game items such as interactable and pickables, they also have to be synchronized as well, because once the player pick up the items, all players should see that the item has been picked up and destroyed in the screen. And in the in-game objectives such as escape pod and material, then you have to also update inside the guidebook. So everything about the objective also have to be using the network implementation as well. And finally, the game state, the win condition, that player have to be acknowledged. They all have to know whether the game is has already ended or not. So this one has to also be synchronized as well. And all of this will be replicated and will be showcased to you soon. And for the other part, because it's not replicated, and which all of this will usually be the client-side interface, such as the widgets as you will see in the last part, in the in-game menu and all the things as that. And the abilities such as warp silhouette, character boxes, and evidence will be the only the user will see. This should be not replicated as well. And other things inside the game will be also not replicated because that will consume too much performance in our game. And for the last part, since our game will be the peer-to-peer connection, we're gonna implement the host migration, which the client who has the listing will be assigned as a host candidate at the start of the game session. And once the game starts for a certain period of time, the server will record the save state inside the game and send that information to the host candidate. And when the server is terminated, all client will be sent back to the game engine default map, where the migration functionality will be processed and they will be connected to the new candidate host.
Okay, so we've had several playtesters try our game, and here's what we got. So the first thing is that it's hard to aim while using the gun and the laser gun, and Whopper's ability aiming is hard to use. So we added reticle while aiming, and while aiming the Whopper's ability, it now shows the silhouette of the player and the location the player is about to warp to. And the next thing is that roles with mobility advantage like Whopper and Octane are more preferred and stronger than others. So we've reworked the ability of some roles. First, we increased the cooldown of Whopper and Octane and also decreased Octane's speed. Now, Bamboozler, fake character can now pick up items and share inventory with the real character. Medic can now also freeze oxygen depletion rate while using the ability, and Detective can now see the directions of other players at the instance of using the ability, and now can see the current health of other players within his range. And another playtest found out that it's hard to remember the ingredients, and sometimes players craft the objective items already submitted to the escape pod. So we added a guidebook to help with that, and the gameplay of the spy is too slow, so now the spy spawns with a gun. Okay, and that concludes our presentation.
Okay, and the next part is going to be the demo. Just give me some time to do it. So I'll be sharing the screen to you. Yeah. So every other member, please open your game and we're gonna perform the play test. Should we do this in English or in Thai?
Well, you can talk to each other in Thai while testing. I think it's more natural.
Okay. So I will be using วุ้นแปลภาษาแล้วตอนนี้เราก็จะมาเป็นภาษาไทยกันแล้วครับก็ เดี๋ยวผมจะทำการโพสต์ห้องให้เพื่อนๆจอยก่อนนะครับก็เพื่อนๆตอนนี้ทุกคนก็ทำการเปิดสตรีมเรียบร้อยแล้วแล้วก็ตอนนี้ก็จะมีสตรีมแอคเคาท์ต่อเข้ามาในเกมนะครับก็ตอนนี้ผมทำการโพสต์ห้องให้ก็เดี๋ยวรอทุกคนจอยเข้ามาครับ ก็ตอนจอยเข้ามาปุ๊บไอ้ตัวนี้จะเป็นตัว default character ของเราเป็นตัวละครใหม่ของพวกเราก็คือเจ้าตัวพัมกินนะครับก็ผมก็จะสามารถเลือกตัวละครในนี้ได้ก็ตอนนี้หน้าตัวละครที่เลือกก็จะเป็นแบบนี้ผมจะเลือกตัวโปรดของผมก็คือตัวนี้ครับโอเคแล้วก็คือเหมือนว่าเพื่อนเราจะเข้ามาแล้ว Hello โอเคนะครับแล้วก็ออกเทนปล่อยตัวปลอมวิ่งมาแล้วนะครับทุกคนทำการเลือกโลนะครับแล้วก็เดี๋ยวพวกเราจะเข้าไปเล่นในเกมกันเลือกโลอย่างหรือว่านี่คือเลือกโอเคแล้วทุกคนเวลากดของก็จะขึ้นว่า I'm ready ขึ้นบนหัวนะครับแล้วก็เดี๋ยวคุณหมอกด ready pressure ครับโอเคแล้วก็ ตอนนี้เรากำลังจะเข้าไปเล่นในเกมกันครับโอเคครับก็ตอนนี้เราเกิดมาก็ตอนนี้ตัวเกมกำลังโหลดอยู่ก็เดี๋ยวรอทุกคนจอยเข้ามาในเกมก็ที่ตอนนี้เห็นกันอยู่ก็คือจะเป็นตัวฐานหลักของพวกเรานะครับก็ตัวฐานหลักของพวกเราก็จะทำการโอ โอเคเดี๋ยวเราจะเข้ามาในเกมกันแล้วแล้วก็ ตอนนี้ทุกคนก็เข้ามาแล้วนะครับ ก็คราวนี้สังเกตที่อาจารย์เห็นก็ตอนนี้จะไม่มีปืนดรอปอยู่ที่ตัวละครแล้วก็จะมีอาวุธติดขึ้นที่ตัวแทนก็คราวนี้อินเวนทอรี่แต่ละคนก็จะมีตัวปืนแอดเข้าไปนะครับ เพื่อความง่ายจะได้ไม่แย่งปืนกันก็ตอนนี้ผมสังเกตเห็นคนไกลๆตอนนี้ก็เริ่มทำการขุดนะครับผมจะทำการขุดต้นไม้ตรงนี้ต้นไม้มาครับ ตอนนี้นะครับก็ถ้าผมกดปุ่ม G ก็จะมีตัว crafting list นะครับ ตอนนี้ที่ผมเล็งไว้อยู่ก็คือผมจะอัปเกรดเลเซอร์กันก็คือมันต้องใช้ล็อกใช้หินแล้วก็คอปเปอร์อย่างละ10ใช่ไหมครับแล้วก็มีเลเซอร์กันที่เรามีอยู่แล้วก็อันนี้ก็คือจะเป็นตัวหินนะครับก็เราสามารถยิงหินออกมาแล้วก็คราฟได้ตอนนี้ผมก็จะเอาเท่าที่จำนวนเท่าที่จำเป็นก่อนแล้วก็เดี๋ยวจะคราฟอย่างอื่นครับแล้วก็เนื่องจากตอนนี้ผมยังไม่แน่ใจว่าใครเป็นสปายนะครับ แล้วก็ผมจะทำการพาไปตรงนี้ครับพวกมีตัววิ่งเร็วอยากจะวิ่งมาที่เขตนี้หนึ่งครับก็ ผมก็จะทำการมันก็จะทำการยิงเองนะครับแล้วก็โอ๊ยยิงไม่โดนอยู่นิ่งๆดีวะ ต้องแพ้ยังต้องแพ้ซะนั่นแหละใช่ดีมาก โอเคก็คือผมพูดขนาดนี้ทุกคนก็น่าจะรู้แล้วว่าผมเป็นสปายนะครับก็ ก็โอเคครับก็ตอนนี้ถ้าเกิดว่าเรารู้ว่าใครเป็นสปายครับเราก็สามารถไปที่เทอร์มินอลแล้วก็สามารถกดโหวตคนนั้นออกได้ถ้าเสียงเป็นเอกฉันท์ก็คนนั้นก็จะถูกโหวตออกนะครับก็ตอนนี้เราจะสังเกตได้ว่าเราจะมีศพตัวละครนอนแห้งแมงอยู่ตรงนี้นะครับก็คนอื่นก็สามารถเห็นได้ แล้วคนที่ตายไปเราก็จะตอนนี้ก็จะกลายเป็นผีนะครับก็ผีในตอนนี้ก็จะสามารถล่องลอยบินไปตามแบบได้ก็ผมก็จะเดินกลับมาเพราะว่าออกซิเจนผมจะหมดแล้วแล้วเราจะมาโชว์เรื่องการคราฟกันหน่อยดีกว่าครับก็ตอนนี้คราฟเทเบิลก็จะมีผมสามารถคราฟเป็นเพื่อนได้กับคราฟเลเซอร์อัปเกรดได้ผมก็จะเลือกคราฟเลเซอร์อัปเกรดนะครับก็ตอนนี้ปืนผมก็จะอัปเกรดออกมาเป็นเวอร์ชันเลเวล2นะครับก็จะเป็นปืนนี้แล้วก็ตอนนี้มีคนกำลังโหวตออกมีคนมีคนประสงค์ร้ายแล้วโหวตผมออกผมจะบอกว่าไม่โหวตไม่ออกซึ่งสองคนนี้ก็ดูจะฟอสผมอยากให้ออกเหมือนกันก็คราวนี้ปืนเรื่อง2ครับก็จะสามารถขุดไอเทมบางอันที่มันไม่สามารถขุดได้ตอนแรกก็อยากจะเก็บไอเทมไอ้นี่อันนี้มันตัวปลอมด้วยซ้ำโอเคเมื่อกี้เขาใช้ตัวปลอมขโมยไอเทมผมเห็นครับก็เดี๋ยวผมจะทำการขุดไอเทมส่วนที่เหลือก็ได้นะครับโอเคครับแล้วก็ในตอนกลางคืนในเมื่อผมเป็นตัวสปายซึ่งเพื่อนน่าจะรู้หมดแล้วก็ผมสามารถเปิดในวิชั่นสามารถหาเพื่อนได้ว่าแต่ละคนตอนนี้อยู่ที่ไหนนะครับก็เนื่องจากในเพลย์ลูปของพวกเราทั้งหมดนี้จะมีระยะเวลาประมาณ15นาทีนะครับแล้วก็ผมก็โดนวนออกแล้วผมก็กลับเข้าไปไม่ได้ก็แย่ละตอนนี้ผมก็ออกซิเจนจะลดลงเรื่อยๆก็หน้าที่ของผมตอนนี้ก็คือโชว์กันไหนนะผมต้องถือปืนมาไล่ยิงคนซะแล้วสินะก็เราจะมาหาเพื่อนๆกันนะครับก็ เพื่อนๆแน่นอนว่าอ้าวยังไงเจอเหยื่อคนนี้ จะวิ่งหนีไปไหนแล้วเขาเป็นหมอนะครับเขาก็ทำการเปิด Immortal นะครับก็คือตอนนี้ผมยิงเขาก็จะไม่เข้าเลยแล้วก็มันก็เข้าเขียนแล้วเอ้ยกลับมาเนี่ยครับสบายใจเฉิบขอไปก่อนครับ แล้วก็คราวนี้ที่พวกเราสังเกตได้ก็คือตอนนี้พอเราเป็นสปายถูกคนพบใช่ไหมครับเราก็ยังมี opportunity ที่จะมาจัดการเพื่อนๆได้ ก็คืออย่างที่ผมทำตอนนี้ตราบใดที่ออกซิเจนผมยังไม่หมดซึ่งตอนนี้ก็ยังเหลืออยู่อีกสักครึ่งหนึ่งก็สามารถไล่ยิงเพื่อนๆได้นะครับแล้วก็ตอนนี้ดูเหมือนว่าเพื่อนๆฝ่ายดีจะยังคราฟ escape pod ไม่ได้สักชิ้นนะครับก็ไม่เป็นไรครับเพราะว่าเนื่องจากเกมนี้นานแต่ตัวนี้ก็จะสังเกตเห็นได้ข้างๆเราก็จะมีตัว Thruster Frame Reactor แล้วก็ Electrical ที่สามารถคราฟได้ก็ถ้าเกิดว่าผู้เล่นฝ่ายดีสามารถคราฟได้ปุ๊บแล้วเอาไปใส่ปุ๊บตัว Objective นี้จะอัปเดตขึ้นมาทันทีนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเราจะทำการปิดเกมตรงนี้แล้วก็เดี๋ยวเนื่องจากเพื่อไม่ให้เป็นการเสียเวลาตอนนี้11:22แล้วเดี๋ยวผมจะเข้าเซสชันตัวQ&A ให้กับอาจารย์นะครับเพื่อที่อาจารย์จะได้ถามว่าเกี่ยวกับตัวเกมได้นะครับ ครับ
โอเคโทษทีอาจจะต้องกลับเป็นถามภาษาอังกฤษอีกรอบนะ
ได้ครับ
Okay, any questions from the examiners ไหมครับ
Yes, we also have to ask and answer in English, right?
Yes, I suppose so.
Thank you. Okay, maybe I will start first. When demo, I'm not sure, but it is because of Zoom or not. But it's very hard to see your game playing because it's very lag. But it's no
really like-
problem. However, is it smooth in your screen, right?
Yes, it's pretty smooth, but I'm not sure how the How
It
does
doesn't
Zoom
come out
show?
well in Zoom, but I've seen your game, so I can guarantee that it's smooth.
so
Okay,
sorry about
thank
that.
you. It gonna be better if in the document or slide you show each row you explain, because I cannot imagine because you just talk and I don't know what is how many row you have and what about their ability, and it's gonna be more better if you show maybe in a very short clip for each role so that I can understand. For now, I'm not understand at all because you just talk and just that. But okay, it's okay for me.
That's it.
Is there any music or sound effect?
Oh, yes, there actually is. I think because I sharing the wrong screen, so there probably no sounds. So let me change a bit. So can you hear the sound from right now?
No.
You need to share the sound on the Zoom.
You need to choose to share the sound. When you share your screen, there will be an option for you to share the
Share
sound.
sound. Okay. All right, can you hear it?
Okay, yes.
It's a little jumpy arcade music right now in the main menus, and when we get inside, you're gonna hear a lot of sound effect right here. So just as let's see what I can show you. Let me
Did
show
you
you this one.
compose all the song and sound effect by yourself?
Yes, this one is composed by our friend right here. It's not before.
Good.
It's Panji, so that's the sound he used. And you can see the character say Onyo and run at the speed of light. So as you say, you didn't see the ability quite well, so let me take this time to show you. Okay, so the first one is the warper. The warper can warp and teleport the character at the fixed location up here. So when the character plays, they will gonna teleport to that location instantly with a short delay. Okay, and this little sharky, the blue one, which is the warper right here. This one can run at a faster speed. So when you use the ability, they're gonna run much faster. So as you can see, you can see the speed trail and the movement is gonna be quite faster compared to the normal one. I'm not sure if your screen can see this clearly or not because it's gonna be laggy inside the Zoom, right? So let me try to show you as much as I can. And here is the decoy one. This one, the purple one, is the one that can create the decoy of themselves, and that decoy can pick up the item as well. So once I press the ability, they're gonna copy the decoy outside, and here's our main character right here. And this character can just walk freely to the other places, and it's gonna pop back once the cooldown has been finished. And the next one is going to be the medic. The medic is going to give us the invisibilities when inside the game. So the player, when they are the medic, they can choose which player is going to be invisible. And once you press the characters, when you press the abilities, it's going to give us the invisibility. As you can see when I'm trying to do it inside the game. And for the next one, this one is the pumpkin one is the security operators that can deploy the camera throughout the map. So I can just aim like this, and when I press using the abilities, the cooldown gonna go up, and you can just test the the number 3 inside the game to get inside the camera view like here. And the camera can rotate around, and you can deploy as much as camera as you want, but the camera can also be destroyed as well by your players. Okay. And for the final one is going to be the detective. The detective will investigate all his surrounding areas and see the evidence that has been left behind by the players. So you can see there are footprints about 25 seconds ago over here, and I have used the abilities about 30 seconds ago. I guess it's gonna expire soon. Yes, the ability has been used, and there's a footprint for my press over here. And you can see the 80s, the number of the bells popping up on the desk, and on the foot you can see a little arrow over here that will show the location of the nearby players. Yeah, that's for me. And that will be all of the abilities that I can show you right now. There are a total of 6 abilities.
Okay, thank you. Can you talk to each other in the game without Zoom or Discord?
Yes, actually, but I'm not sure who's inside right now. Can you using the mic?
Hello.
I mean, yes. I mean that if you are very far away from each other, you can not hear, right? But if you stand next to each other, you will hear very clear, and in this sense, increase the sound decrease, right?
Yes. It's gonna be attenuated to when you are further away.
Good. What happened? Can you choose the same character next to your friend, and what if it can or cannot?
Oh yes, every player are capable to choose whatever character they like, because the character will just helping the gameplay inside the game, and there's no limit on that.
And can you distinguish what is friend A, friend B, or yourself? Do you have any flag, any name, or some color change or not?
Oh, there are actually no flag right now when they are choosing the players, because well, once you get inside the game, all players will probably just look the same like this for every player. So if they choose the same character, that's probably gonna see like this. But I think in the future, as you suggested, I think they're probably gonna be a little color change to know that what player is that character.
Okay, maybe it's come to my next question about how can you earn income from this game? Maybe you can sell some prop, maybe hat or clothes or shoe or something like that.
Yeah, because this character model is not actually fixed, and the model can actually added a lot of the cosmetic inside the game. So those kind of add-on items inside the game is actually definitely can. And the game can actually be deployed inside the Steam platform, the normal game Steam platform. Let me clarify this. The Steam right here is, we can just, I just finished my screen share. Anyway, I mean, we can just put it into the Steam marketplace, and we can sell it right there. And all the other items that you can buy inside the game, we can just later be like an in-game purchase.
Okay, maybe some item can be limited so that you can make more money from maybe because it's limited and trade. Maybe I'm not sure. Maybe
yes.
NFT or not or something. Okay, my last question. What about deployment and how you scale when more player?
Yes, so for the deployment right now, as I stated before, the network connection right now is a peer-to-peer system, right? So it's actually not really scalable and can affect a lot of gameplay on the client side. So why I'm showing you on the server side, you still see a little laggy because of this thing. But from the client side, it's going to be much worse once there are too many players inside the game. So when we deploy the game to the Steam, I think we're going to put some of our budget to create a dedicated server, because that would help us a lot on trying to synchronize and replicate the player throughout the game because the connection will be much more stable. And that way we can make it more scalable because each session created inside the game can just connect it to the dedicated server we created before. This model is actually implemented in a lot of AAA games such as the Apex Legends. I think with the large amount of player base, I think this model is suiting the best for this game in general right now.
Okay, thank you. That's all my question from me. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So I'll go next. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. According to your plan, how is the progress right now? Like in terms of percentage, like how many percentage is completed?
Oh,
What do
for
you think?
the core game functionality, it's actually fully implemented right now. So I think it's actually good to go. But for now, I think what are we missing right now is actually the quality of life and when the player playing the game. So as you can show, let me show you a little screen right here. So as you can see in this document, we put up like a little patch note over here. When each iteration of player playing the game, they will give us a little suggestion what we can implement it more. So I think what we have right now is actually stable but not quite balanced, and it can be more balanced if we keep going to the playtest because as we show you in the slides, some of the ability has been toned down and some of the abilities has been buffed to compatible with the other characters, and there are some of the buffs for the other game that we may not see, but overall I think it's already stable. But only the gameplay implementation and the quality of life of player when they are playing the game, we are trying to make it more easier for them to learning the game. So that's what are we doing right now. But that is actually not in the what did I say the plan for this project because that can be a lot longer iteration right now.
Yes, I agree. Like what you have shown me is that the gameplay is pretty solid right now, and I can see that it's already fun to play. And what you're still lacking is only just like maybe tutorials and like you said, some quality of life which can implement later. And do you think how much longer time do you need for like the whole thing to be finished before you can launch it on Steam?
If I predicted, I mean, if I predicted and if you're just gonna use this only map as our starting point to deploy on the Steam, I think maybe about 2 or 3 months is okay right now. I mean, but it's just gonna take those time to play test and find a little bug and try to improve the player. Because we have some of our friends as our playtester, I think we can get a lot more, like a lot more of comments for them that we can.
Okay. But you so you are planning to like really release this game on Steam, right? From what I can see.
Yes, I'm actually planning to do this one to release this on Steam, because for right now we implemented a lot, and I think it's a good experience for us to deploy our little own indie game to the Steam platform.
Okay. Okay. About the gameplay, he already asked most of my question, and I already got some answers. So let's see. Oh, and who was the composer of the music again? I think it's really good.
It's really good, Sirapop. My friend, right?
Yes, it's me.
Yeah, it's him right here.
Oh, okay. I like it a lot. And do you still have only one song right now in the game?
Actually, there are 2 songs.
Another
The song you
the
just heard
main
before is just
map.
it's an in game,
Okay.
it's the menu and choosing screen in the lobby, but when you go inside the game, it's actually have a different song.
Okay. And I just remember something. From what I can see right now, the character model is fixed to each role, right? So like if you choose medic, it's only the red character that you can play right now, or you can swap the model around between roles.
No, actually, the model is fixed to each role. I mean, it's to help the player identify what that player's ability is as well.
What about in the future? Do you plan to like make like the model can be swapped between all roles?
The model can be swapped between all.
Like, can you choose which
I mean,
skin are you gonna use?
I mean, yes, we can switch the character between each role, but as of now, I think, in my opinion, it's gonna be hard for our player to distinguish between each ability players, and I think what we are lacking right now is the, you know, key identifier, as we talking to Ajahn Pitipon. He said that we're gonna need a little, like a key virtual for us to distinguish. So I think that's what we like doing now. So for now, we're just gonna stick to this one. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any plans for that in the future? Like when
Yes.
you make the skin like customizable, what will be
Yes.
the key signature for each role?
Yes, I think this model mesh is gonna be the best one for every player for them to choose for each abilities. But I think in the future the cosmetic can help us distinguish a lot more. But as of now, we only have very limited 3D models. But I think in the future, if we getting more resources for the 3D models, I think we can add it to the player collector for them. And I think for them to choose the character before inside the game, we can just put it inside the lobby for them to customize themselves. As you can see the example in the Among Us game, something like that.
Okay. So you plan to make everyone knows which ability each one has, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it from my question. And I think the game is the gameplay is pretty solid, pretty good right now. And with I think only some few adjustment, it should be like good for maybe make some beta tests for like public players. And I really want to see how much this game can go.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I have some questions about the role you can do after the launch of the game. Once it's launched and people download it and play, what do you have to do? Oh, sorry. Do you have to like meet regularly to make a patch or get the feedback and modify the game?
Oh, as of right now, we currently have a 2 times sprint for each week, and during the past few months, actually it's every Friday. My friends after the work, they're gonna come and play test in every week. So we're gonna have a little bug fix and update throughout the week. So in the future, after this, I think we can keep this kind of sprint meeting. And because the playtest is gonna be regularly, I mean, in each week we can just look at the bug that has been found right now, and we can just solidify the current functionality we have. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And when launching the game, how do you plan the server capability? Because you don't know how many people are going to download the game. and play maybe in the first week or in the first month. So how are you going to plan for the server capability for the first month of launch?
For this one, to be honest, I didn't plan it that far, that far.
Mm.
But and just for my game right now, I mean, if we just on the advertisement, because the current Steam market is actually pretty large, and the players is gonna be like the player base is gonna be pretty large as well. And if you just put a beta test and let the player play the game for free, I think there's gonna be a lot of players. So I think we're just gonna put it in the worst case that the server has to handle like at least 10,000. I don't know. But I think I have to dig into the research for this one a little bit more as well.
What happens if there are too many players for the server to handle? Will the game just run slower and slower, or will some player won't get into the game at all?
I think I can use this from the other game as a case study. We have found the issue. I mean, I'm gonna talk about the game for Apex Legends again, where there are too many player base, and it's overwhelmed their servers. What happened is the server will, this kind of server, they're gonna disconnect all the players all at once, and even our host migration functionality is not able to handle with that as well. So I think it's our main concern right now, but I'm currently not sure how to fix it yet.
Okay. Yeah. In terms of senior project, what else do you have to do to complete the senior project part?
On the senior project part, I think we already, guys, what do you think? I think we already did.
Completed everything?
Yes, it's completed everything as we set the milestone. But because it's the game development, I mean, once we think that it's already finished and when we let the other player play the games instead of us, a lot more comments has come into, and there are some of the more functionalities that can be polished. Yeah. So for the milestone right now, I think we wrap up pretty much everything right now. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it can still be further implemented as well.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's all my question. Thanks.
Thank you.
I just remember some question. Can I ask one more?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I've seen that you have all the core gameplays already, but do you have any progression system? Like each time you play, do you earn like a currency to use, like to buy stuff or anything right now?
As of now, there's none. There's none about the currencies. Yeah, but I mean, once we put all those kind of cosmetic functionalities, maybe we can like create an in-game currency for each iteration they play, and they can buy all the cosmetic items inside the game. I think that's gonna work pretty well, but as of now, there's no functionality that can do that. But we can add it in the future. Yes, definitely.
Okay. So just maybe as some advice, because like this kind of game, like each time you play the session is completely separated. It means that when you start a new game, like the last game doesn't affect anything. But maybe if you add maybe something like a progression system like experience or currency, it will make the game more interesting, and it shouldn't cost a lot to make those kind of system. It just simple enough. Yeah, that will be my suggestion. Okay. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna take a note on that too. Thank you.
โอเคครับขอบคุณครับกรรมการทุกท่านถ้างั้นกลุ่มนี้เดี๋ยวถ้างั้น I will look at the report and then I'll comment and get the report back to you โอเคครับถ้างั้นก็ if there's nothing else then then well done and we're finished for your group.
Okay, thank you
ครับ
Thank
เรา
you
ถามเพิ่มนิดนึงได้ไหมครับพอดีจะทำภาษาไทยได้ใช่ไหมครับ
ได้
เพราะว่าอันนี้น่าจะไม่ค่อยเกี่ยวกับตัวเนื้องานแล้วสงสัยแค่ตอนเรา move ซ้ายขวาพอดีมันแหลกมันเคลื่อนที่ตรงๆไหมหรือว่ามันค่อยๆเคลื่อนที่ช้าไปเร็วตามหลักฟิสิกส์อะไรเงี้ย
อ๋อคาแรคเตอร์อันนี้ที่จริงมันเคลื่อนที่ปุ๊บมันไม่ได้เป็นแบบช้าไปเร็วนะครับมันจะเป็นแบบ
มันกดปุ๊บไปปั๊บเลยอย่างนี้ใช่ไหมครับ
ใช่ครับตอนนี้
แล้วก็สมมติเวลาเราโดนสมมติเราโดนยิงมีกระเด็นหรือว่ามีแบบว่ามีแอคชั่นเปลี่ยนไปเลยก็โดนยิงก็ยิงยิ้มเหมือนเดิม
อ๋อตอนโดนยิงตอนนี้มันยังไม่กระทบผลฟิสิกส์เท่าไหร่ครับหมายถึงแบบถ้าเกิดว่ามี impact กระสุนมาปุ๊บตัวละครจะไม่ได้เกิดการกระเด็นครับเพราะว่าตอนแรกกลัวว่าถ้าเกิดว่ากระเด็นปุ๊บมันจะทำให้แบบเพลเยอร์ที่โดนยิงมันควบคุมยากขึ้นเพราะว่ามูฟเมนต์พวกนี้ที่จริงมันไม่ได้เป็นแบบเคลื่อนที่คาแรคเตอร์มันเป็นการแบบพุชฟิสิกส์ไปเลยอย่างเงี้ยครับ
ครับก็ไม่แน่ใจว่าคนเล่นจะคาดหวังแค่ไหนแต่อย่างสำหรับผมเล่นเกมแอคชั่นผมคาดหวังพวกนี้มากถ้ามันไม่สมจริงด้านฟิสิกส์ผมไม่เอามาเลยครับไม่ว่าจะเป็นรวมทั้งดิเมนชันในการเล่นในชีวิตเวลาเรามันเป็นพื้นราบตลอดไหมหรือว่ามันขึ้นบันไดหรือว่ามองลงเขาหรือมองจากล่างขึ้นบนหรืออะไรพวกอย่างนี้ได้ไหมถ้ามันเพลนมากมันน่าเบื่อมาก
อ๋อได้หมดครับก็
ถ้าได้หมดแต่ว่าเรากระโดดไม่ได้
ครับอ๋อที่จริงกระโดดได้ครับไม่จริงแต่
กระโดดได้
น่าจะ
ใช่
ก
ไหม
ระโดดเตี้ยไปหน่อยนี่ครับ
อ๋อโอเคครับจริงๆดูไม่รู้เรื่องครับเพราะว่ามันแหลกแต่ว่าโอเค เอาเป็นว่าเรื่องสำหรับผมนะคนอื่นไม่รู้แต่สำหรับผมเรื่องทางกฎฟิสิกส์ของการเคลื่อนไหวการอะไรอย่างเงี้ยผมค่อนข้างซีเรียสเรื่องพวกนี้ครับแต่ว่าคนอื่นไม่รู้เดี๋ยวนี้เขาซีเรียสไหมแล้วก็แล้วแต่ครับ
ผมคิดว่ามันแล้วแต่เกมเกมที่เป็นแบบ casual แต่เป็นสู้ๆกันเงี้ยบางทีไม่ต้องแบบฟิสิกส์มากก็ได้มันขึ้นอยู่กับ audience ของเกมแบบน่ารักเงี้ยอาจจะไม่จำเป็นจะต้อง realistic ขนาดนั้น
เห็นด้วยครับ
เพราะว่าถ้า realistic มากไปคนที่มาเล่นแบบเอาน่ารักเขาจะเล่นไม่ไหวไง
อ๋อ
มันจะต้องมี mixture ตรงนี้อยู่
เพราะว่าที่จริงเกมผมการจะแบบน่าจะเอาแค่แบบพวก casual audience อาจจะไม่ได้มีแบบแข่ง competition อะไรขนาดนั้นเลยครับ
ครับนี้ต้องระวังนิดนึงก็คือถ้าหากว่าเรา casual audience มากแล้วกำลังของคุณซื้อสมมติคนเล่นมีเด็กๆนั้นเลยคุณจะหาเงินเกมนี้ยากมากคุณระวังเรื่องการตลาดด้วยแล้วกันนะครับ
ได้ครับ
จริงผมไม่ได้มายมากนะเรื่องที่อาจารย์เขากับพี่ๆเขาพูดเรื่องหาเงินนะเพราะว่าผมมองนี่เหมือนเป็นโปรเจกต์แรกเราอะถ้าเราทำให้ดีแล้วคือมันไม่จำเป็นต้องหาเงินนะมันทำออกไปให้รู้ว่าเรามีฝีมือก่อนให้คนเขาไว้ใจในชื่อของทีมอะไรอย่างนี้ก่อนยังได้อะ
ครับเราจะมีคนชวนไปร่วมทีมทีหลังอะไรอย่างนี้ใช่ไหมครับ
เพราะว่า
ซื้อตัวไปซื้อเกมไปพัฒนาต่อ
เกมแรกมันอาจจะอยู่ที่การสร้างแบบทีมนี้เขามีเกมสนุกนะอะไรอย่างนี้มาก่อนน่าจะดีกว่าเรื่องหาเงินถ้ายังสามารถอยู่กันได้อยู่
ผมว่าก็ใช่ครับตอนแรกต้องทำให้คนรู้จักฝีมือเราก่อน
ใช่
ตอนผมทำไทม์ไลน์ก็กล่าวว่าหาประกาศให้โลกรู้เฉยๆแต่ว่าไม่ได้คิดจะเอากำไรเหมือนกันสุดท้ายก็ไม่มีกำไรจริงๆครับ
ไม่แต่คนก็รู้จักหมดแล้วไงงั้นทีมเราทำอะไรต่อไปมันก็ง่ายขึ้นเยอะ
จริงครับพอคนรู้จักก็ง่ายขึ้น
โอเคครับ
โอเคครับถ้างั้นเดี๋ยวกลุ่มนี้ขอประมาณนี้เนาะเพราะว่าสายไปหน่อยเกินเวลาที่คิดไปพอสมควรก็เดี๋ยวงั้นเดี๋ยวกลุ่มนี้ขอเท่านี้ก่อนเดี๋ยวผมขอเปลี่ยน recording ก่อนจะ record อีกเซสชันหนึ่ง